Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back at Giants Stadium, the New York Giants 3-7, the Philadelphia Eagles 2-8. Ray Rhodes, a former wide receiver and defensive back with the Giants in the late 1970s. And Giants head coach Jim Fossil across the way in his second season. Fossil said his three priorities at this point: number one, to win; number two, get better; number three, look at some of the reserves, as Brad Deloiso gets things started. A short kickoff taken at the 20-yard line. And the Eagles will start from their own 24, led by third-year quarterback Bobby Hoying out of Ohio State. Hoying started 2-0-1 last year. However, this season has struggled, has not thrown a touchdown pass in 199 attempts. The men protecting Hoying, to Staley along with Kevin Turner in the backfield. Irving Fryer has struggled this season along with Jeff Graham and the tight end Jason Dunn. Dunn is in motion on first down, a play-action pass. Hoying looking downfield, and Conrad Hamilton, the right quarterback, got a piece of it for the Giants, who are ranked 25th defensively this season. Chad Bradsky with 7.5 sacks up front, along with Hamilton, Harris, and Michael Strahan, a Pro Bowler a year ago. Armstead, Whitmer, and Marcus Buckley, the linebacking core. And Sam Garnes returns today at strong safety after missing the last 5 games following foot surgery. 2nd and 10, Sullivan in motion on the end around. Some trickery. This is Dietrich Jells, who has not seen much action this season. Picks up the first down, a gain of 13 yards.
Well, the Eagles need some big plays, and they need to get their offense going somehow. And I like the decision to use Dietrich Jells early, not just on a passing route, but on a reverse. He's the fastest guy on the team, and that's the guy you want to use on the reverse. Eagles line does a nice job of pinning back the Giants defenders and giving Jells the corner on this play.
Jells scored 2 touchdowns against the Eagles with New England in a preseason game. They traded for him the next day. And that was his first carry of the season. Does not have a pass reception. 1st and 10 from the 40. To Staley's first carry of the game. He's the Eagles' leading rusher this year. Keith Hamilton made the stop.
And I think Keith Hamilton is going to be a real problem for the Philadelphia Eagles today. Because if you look at the matchup of the Eagles' offensive line versus the Giants' defensive line, that's a matchup that the Giants should win, especially where number 75 Hamilton and number 92 Strahan line up.
2nd and 8 from the 42. This is Staley once again. And just 1 yard on the play. Michael Strahan along with Corey Whitmer made the stop.
And this is why I said Strahan is a formidable guy and a guy who should win that matchup. Strahan matched up against Richard Cooper on this play. Watch Strahan right here. He shoots right in here. He controls the line of scrimmage. He jacks Cooper up. See that? Just jacks him right up back and then comes off and makes the tackle.
So now the Eagles face 3rd down and 6 on their opening drive. 4 wideouts, and they keep it on the ground with Keith Staley. And Staley dives out at midfield, close to the first down marker. We'll see where the officials spot the ball.
And that was a great effort by Deuce Staley to try to pick up that first down. Now, the Eagles take advantage. The Giants guys are up here showing the blitz in Bobby Hoying, and they bring the blitz. And it's a great play because the toss to the outside is the perfect answer to a blitz coming up the center of the field. You know, when your quarterback is struggling and he gets into these 3rd and long situations, everyone thinks it's going to be a pass, and sometimes a run is a nice changeup.
Eagles stopped just short. Remember last week in Washington, They actually went for it on 4th down 5 times. They were 1 for 5. They were stopped on the opening drive. This week, they'll punt.
Well, and the difference, though, last week was they were back down in the Redskins' territory. This time, they're on their side of the 50, and it's a wise decision to punt the ball. You know, both offenses have struggled dramatically this season, so field position becomes important if you want to win this game.
Amani Toomer is the deep man. He returned a punt for a touchdown against the Eagles 2 years ago. Tom Hutton back at his own 35. Toomer lets it go, bounces into the end zone. On a penalty marker on the play. A 51-yard punt by Hutton. Penalty marker back.
Yeah, that's going to be a personal foul against Kevin Turner, the Eagles fullback. He was the personal protector for the punter on that last play. Chad Bratsky came up, got into his face, and there was some blocking going back and forth, and Turner took the last swing, which is the one the officials always see.
We never see the first one. Now, referee today is Bill Carollo.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 34, a blow to the head. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchback. Timeout.
Kevin Turner's going to come from the left here. Here you see Bratsky right up under his face. Bratsky hits his face first. Turner takes the swing, and he draws the penalty.
So the Giants to the offense when we return.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green, back at the Meadowlands. Giants start from their own 20-yard line with Kent Graham making his first start of the season. He started 6 games for the Arizona Cardinals a year ago. The pitch back to Gary Brown out across the 25 to the 26-yard line, a gain of 6. Mike Caldwell, starting for the injured James Darling, made the tackle. Kent Graham making his 19th career start, his first as a Giant since 1994. He then went on to the Lions and the Cardinals. Oben, Bishop, Scott, Stone, and Gregg. Gary Brown with the fullback Charles Way. Holloway and Hilliard, the wideouts. And the tight end is Howard Cross. On second down, the inside handoff to Way out to the 28-yard line. A gain of 2. Charles Way, a native of Philadelphia, playing against the Eagles, his family Eagles season ticket holders. And for the Eagles, they are ranked number 12 in the NFL defensively. Hugh Douglas, the former New York Jet, with 12.5 sacks among the league leaders. William Thomas, 2-time Pro Bowl linebacker. And the Eagles have their secondary intact for only the 3rd time this season. They've won the previous 2 games with their 4 starters healthy. And Gary Brown looks to be stopped about a yard shy of the first down marker.
The Giants came into today's game wanting to run the ball. Yeah, you want to take pressure off Kent Graham, but you also want to reestablish what made you a playoff team last season. If you look at it, in '97, they were ranked 7th in rushing, 124 yards a game. This year so far, they're 23rd with only 94 yards a game. We saw 3 run plays, and the Giants' offensive line came up short.
Giants go 3 and out. They have not scored a touchdown in over 9 quarters. Alan Rossum is the deep man. Brad Maynard, the leading punter in the NFC. Rossum, the rookie out of Notre Dame, setting up good field position for the Eagles with a 7-yard return following a 42-yard punt. Doug Coleman made the tackle on Rossum. Early first quarter from the Meadowlands with no score. The Philadelphia Eagles, the lowest scoring team in the NFL. Tim mentioned it in the open, only 92 points. They've been outscored by Terrell Davis of the Broncos, who has scored 102 points this season. The pitch back to Deuce Staley, and he is met by Jesse Armstead after a gain of 3.
The Giants' run defense hasn't been what it was exactly last season, and the last few weeks it struggled. But I think having Sam Garnes, their strong safety, back is going to help them out a lot. They're going to play a lot of 8-man fronts today. They're going to force the Eagles to throw the ball, force the ball into Bobby Hoying's hands, make Hoying beat them.
Second down and 7. Play action. And Hoying's pass is short. He was looking for Irving Fryer. Coverage on the play by Felipe Sparks.
Right, and this is what Bobby Hoying has struggled with more than anything. He has not been able to connect with these long passes. You're going to see that this pass has almost no juice on it whatsoever, and it's thrown short. Fryer is open, but barely. But see that ball? I mean, it's a terrible throw. Bobby Hoying is a guy whose confidence needs to be rebuilt.
Third down and 7. Off the play fake. Hoying makes the connection with the tight end Dunn, who fumbled and then fell on it. Scott Gallion wrapped him up. So the Eagles will punt for the second time.
Well, this was the best offensive play that the Eagles had going last week against the Redskins, this little bootleg pass. The Giants knew it was coming, and watch Michael Strahan. He applies immediate pressure to Bobby Hoying on this play. So he forces him to throw the ball early, and then Scott Gallion does an outstanding job of having instant coverage on the tight end.
Hutton's first punt sailed 51 yards. Toomer from the 15. Pushed to the outside and is upended as he crosses the 30-yard line. Ryan Dawkins made the stop, a 45-yard punt, 16 on the return by Toomer. Giants back to the offense with just over 6 minutes gone by. They have not scored a touchdown in over 9 quarters. In fact, since that last TD, they've had 26 possessions. They've gone 10 and out, 3 and out 10 times, 17 punts, and have been outscored 53-9.
And again, the third down conversions for the Giants have been abysmal this season. Last in the NFL.
Giants start from their own 42-yard line. Off the play fake, Graham takes off, and then is upended by Bill Johnson.
Well, it doesn't surprise me to see Kent Graham scrambling, because we talked to him yesterday, and he said, look, when the pocket starts to close on me and I don't see a receiver, I'm going to take that ball and run for it. He's not a guy who scrambles around. He's not a guy who throws on the run. But if he sees a lane, he's going to take it. Well, he saw the lane, but Big Bill Johnson was sitting there to fill it.
Johnson's second sack of the season. Gary Brown still on his feet to the 39-yard line, a gain of 8. And it's an extracurricular activity.
Scott Gregg's fired up. I think the Giants' offensive line needs to take over the line of scrimmage in order for the Giants to win this game. In order for the Giants to get back to what they did last season. Let's watch Gregg. See the job that he does blocking here. He's the guy right there in the hole, and you see him get to the outside. He opens it up, knocks Greg Jefferson, and stays on him. The thing that Gary Brown does is he keeps turning his feet.
Tiki Barber in the backfield along with Charles Way. Giants worst in the NFL on third down. A replay for the Giants as Graham makes the connection with Chris Callaway inside the Eagles' 40-yard line, a gain of 22.
And this is the kind of thing that makes a team that's struggling fall in love with the backup quarterback. Kent Graham comes out. First of all, he picks up the first down with the hard count. He guarantees it by drawing the Eagles' defensive line offsides with a hard count. And then he knows he's got a free play, and he delivers that ball downfield.
That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Kent Graham has outstanding composure and confidence, and he's an experienced player.
And he told us yesterday he has a much harder cadence than Danny Cannell.
Right, he was worried about his offensive line going offsides instead of drawing the defense offsides. He said they worked on it hard all week. He'd remind the guys. He said they were good during the week, but sometimes during a game it changes.
Let's listen. Now Graham with a first down on the Eagles' 38. Play fake to Brown. Graham fires, and the catch is made by Ike Hilliard. Another Giants first down. After a gain of 16, Troy Vincent made the stop.
You know, the other thing Kent Graham has is a very powerful arm. And I think Jim Fossil felt what he could do is thread the needle, something Danny Cannell was struggling with. You're going to watch Kent Graham drop back and watch he throws a line right here in front of this coverage and in back of that coverage. So he threads the needle with that strong arm.
And Charles Way is hit in the backfield, a loss of 2 yards. William Thomas was the first Eagle in to wrap up Way.
Way is a guy who last season really did a lot of things for this offense. And this season, he's had about half the productivity. But Coach Jim Fossil told us yesterday that he felt that was more a function of him just not putting the ball in Way's hands as much as he'd like to.
Way out of Northeast High School in Philadelphia. 2nd and 12. Giants have trouble with the snap.
Yeah, Kent Graham got his own center with the hard count. Lance Scott hiked it too soon. So it'll be loss of the down there. I don't know if we can hear it. Lance Scott snapped it before the quarterback was ready.
So a 3rd and 13. Giants have moved backwards on the last 2 plays. They spread out the field with 3 wide receivers. And Graham to the outside for Charles Way, forced out of bounds at the 22-yard line after a gain of 4. So the field goal unit will come on for the Giants.
So Kent Graham throws the underneath pass, and it's called living for another day. You know, you take the safe throw, and he can't expect to find his receivers wide open down the field too much today, because the strength of the Eagles defense is their cornerbacks. Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor are 2 guys that can take 2 receivers and typically cover them up, smother them for the whole afternoon.
Brad Maynard is the holder. Brad Daloiso from 40 yards out. And Daloiso's kick is good. So the Giants have taken a 3-0 first quarter lead over the Philadelphia Eagles.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. By Circuit City, answers in every department. Low prices all over the store. By Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Adidas.
About 6 miles from Manhattan, a 48-degree afternoon at the Meadowlands. Brad Daloiso with a 40-yard field goal has given the Giants 3-0 lead. Allen Rossum from the 3. Rossum out across the 20 to the 24-yard line. 21-yard return. Curtis Buckley, claimed on waivers by the Giants a week and a half ago from the 49ers. Made the stop.
Yeah, that's right. And head coach Jim Fossil for the Giants said that because he wanted Buckley out there and Brandon Sanders to play special teams, that was why he might, and in fact did, deactivate Tyrone Wheatley.
Wheatley, one of the Sunday inactives. They inactivate 4 players on Friday, and then 3 more on Sunday morning. Urban Fire in motion. First down from the 23-yard line. And a 3-yard pickup on first down for Charlie Garner, who has split time in the Eagles' backfield this year with Deuce Staley.
Well, Kenny, when you talk about an 8-man front and forcing Bobby Hoying to throw the ball, there's the guy right there. Tito Wooten comes up, so there are 8 defenders right there to stop the run. There are only 7 blockers, so there's always going to be a free guy to be able to tackle the ball carrier. It's up to Deuce Staley and Charlie Garner today to make that free guy miss.
2nd and 7, short drop. Hoying's pass attempt tipped at the line, and it falls incomplete. Jesse Armstead got a piece of it.
Armstead today playing with an injured ankle. He hobbled out of the Green Bay game last week. And whenever a guy like Jesse Armstead hurts his ankle, you worry because his game is about speed. That's the best thing that he's got going for him. Had a spectacular season last season. I think that ankle injury has slowed him down a bit.
He went to the Pro Bowl last year. 3rd and 8. 4 wide receivers. Hoying throws and has the first down. To the former New York Jet, Jeff Graham, upended by Jeremy Lincoln after a gain of 11.
Well, this is an important play for Bobby Hoying because it delivers the ball accurately downfield. It's a deep pass. It's a successful 3rd down conversion for the Eagles. And you're going to see that after the play, he takes some punishment. He pays for it. Right there, he gets a shot from Scott Gallion. But as long as you make the conversion, that shot doesn't hurt.
Garner looked to cut it inside. Keith Hamilton made the stop.
Oh, we talked about Keith Hamilton in the first series. He's a very powerful guy on the inside. And I like the way he plays. I like the way he gets leverage under offensive linemen. If you watch him closely, his hands are always going to the inside of the shoulder pads, and then he extends those arms.
On 2nd and 10, Hoying on the bootleg. Out of bounds as he crossed the 46-yard line. A first down, a pickup of 11 for Bobby Hoying.
And Bobby Hoying's coming to life a little bit here. We saw him throw a nice deep pass, and now we're seeing him on the boot. And what he does here, the boot is a fake run this way, and then the quarterback rolls back, and what he does, essentially, he beats Michael Strahan to the corner. We talked about it earlier when Strahan forced him to throw the ball sooner than he wanted. That is the defensive end's job. It's Michael Strahan's job to contain Bobby Hoying on that play.
4 wideouts, first down from the 47. Hoying out of the shotgun under extreme pressure from Marcus Buckley, and he threw it away.
This is called an empty set, Kenny. You come out with all wide receivers. The other team knows it's a pass play, and watch Marcus Buckley. A lot of defense will automatically blitz when they know it's a pass play, and so what the quarterback has to do is he's got to burn the defense with a long pass when they blitz. If he doesn't, the defense is just going to keep coming after him.
Garner and Turner in the backfield. Turner shifting along with Garner.
Hoying reads the 8-man front, so he goes to the pass.
On 2nd and 10, penalty flag in the defensive backfield.
Hoying got knocked down again. A nice adjustment, though. Nice mental adjustment.
And it's holding on the Giants.
Holding, number 55, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Marcus Buckley. Now his job most times is to cover the tight end, Jason Dunn. Here's Buckley right here. Here's Dunn. He's going to try to release off the line of scrimmage. And Buckley's going to grab hold of him. He hooks his arm there just a bit. And then there you see Bernard Holsey gives Hoying a shot.
Garner, big hole out to the 40-yard line. And for an NFL game break, let's head to Joe Buck at the Fox Television Center in Los Angeles.
All right, Kenny, in Minnesota. Brett Favre's second turnover is a 58-yard interception for a touchdown. Jimmy Hitchcock and the 9-1 Vikings up 10-0 in the first quarter. Back to the Meadowlands. Kenny Albert, Jim Green.
You know, Kenny, those turnovers remind me of the struggles the Giants have had. Last season, plus 25 in turnovers. This season, -2. Even a great playoff team like the Packers is going to lose if you turn that ball over.
Hoying looking for the tight end, Jason Dunn. and Garnes on the coverage. No flag.
Well, I like the way Hoying threw this ball, and people are going to say, well, are you crazy? The ball was grossly underthrown. But I think what Hoying saw was that Sam Garnes had excellent coverage on Jason Dunn. And so when he sees that he can't throw the ball deep and beat the coverage deep, he underthrows this ball, and Jason Dunn is just an inexperienced tight end. Only in his second year or third year, he needs to learn to come back to that ball.
Carlton Gray has replaced Felipe Sparks at left corner. Sparks with a sprained ankle, expected to return for the Giants. Hoying for a timeout on 3rd and 2. And we'll step out with 1:32 remaining, first quarter. A 3-point lead for the New York Giants. $3-0 Giants lead. Well, on Thursday, spend your Thanksgiving Day with Fox as two NFC powers collide. Chris Carter and the Vikings head to Dallas as they will take on Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on Fox.
Great piece by Pam Oliver in the pregame show with Emmitt Smith. Amazing how he has just continued to play well.
On 3rd and 2, Hoying picks up the first down.
Kenny, this is the same play that the Eagles ran last week in Washington in a critical 4th down situation. Short yardage, they needed it. They ran the bootleg, and Bobby Hoying was stopped. This time, they do a great job of blocking the end. They use the back. Goose Staley comes. Watch this cut block here. Actually, I think it's Kevin Turner. He's going to cut. There goes Strahan. Strahan gets cut down, and that buys Bobby Hoying the corner.
Solomon in motion. First down from the 36. Garner tripped up initially by Armstead, and then ran into the arms of Michael Strahan.
Well, Jesse Armstead, his ankle's supposed to be hurt, but boy, you wouldn't know it by the way he's playing. We saw him jump up and knock down a pass. Now we see him shooting through on a run blitz here and really trips up Garner right there in the backfield. And then Strahan again is there to finish him off. Eagles told me yesterday they wanted to run away from Strahan, and now I see why.
On 2nd and 10, Staley up the middle. A big burst to the 27-yard line, about 1 yard shy of the first down, a gain of 9 on the final play of the first quarter. The only scoring, a 40-yard Brad Daloiso field goal. So the Giants lead the Eagles 3-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 1 quarter complete from the Meadowlands. Giants a 3-0 lead over the Eagles. Kenny Albert with Tim Green. Eagles have scored only 10 touchdowns this season in 10 games, but putting together an impressive drive right here.
Yeah, that's right. They've got the ball going on the ground. The Eagles with 56 yards rushing in the first quarter. That's as good as they've done all season long.
Garner looks to leap over the pile on 3rd and short.
Eagles came into today's game wanting to run the ball, but as I said right from the beginning, I think the Giants' defensive line is a stronger group than Ray Rhodes' offensive line. But hey, Rhodes challenged him. He said, look, you guys are going to have to move these guys out. You're going to have to open some holes, and that's what they've done so far. Also, as of note, Bobby Hoying, the Eagles quarterback, has run for 15 yards and 2 first downs.
Again, the Eagles stopped just short, and this time they sent out the field goal unit.
Kenny, the Giants, there are a lot of reasons why they're 3-7 this season instead of 7-3, but one of those really hasn't been Jim Fossil's defense. His defense is statistically pretty even as to where they were last year, 10 games into the season.
44-yard field goal attempt for Chris Boniol. Only his 11th attempt of the season. 5 kickers in the NFL have attempted more than 3 times that many. And Boniol's kick is no good. Short.
Wow, that is pitiful.
His season long was 44. This time, short from 44.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By First Union, your guide to the financial world. By Taco Bell. And by Energizer Advanced Formula Battery. No battery lasts longer.
Eagles offense putting together a 12-play drive, but Chris Monial could not connect from 44. Now the Giants start from their own 35-yard line with a 3-0 lead. Gary Brown, native 1 yard on the play. Brown, a native of Williamsport, Pennsylvania. He was an Eagles fan growing up, so the entire Giants backfield, Charles Way and Gary Brown, growing up in Pennsylvania, they rooted for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's a great story. I mean, Gary Brown in Houston with the Oilers, 1,000-yard rusher, then went to San Diego, left there and sat around in Williamsport for a season, ate hoagies, watched TV, didn't go out of his apartment much, gained a lot of weight, and then said, hey, enough of this. I want to get back into football.
And has earned the starting job with the Giants. Graham with time, 2nd and 9, batted, and then a good play by Howard Cross to keep it away from 2 Eagles.
That was a good play. Boy, Kent Graham had outstanding protection on that play, and he knows it. He was perfect up to this point. He was 3 for 3 with 41 yards. The Giants with their own empty set. He's got 4 wide receivers out in the mix. He sees one guy open, but tries to throw through the Eagles.
And the tight end Cross very alertly knocked it to the ground as he was falling down. 52 3-and-outs, most in the NFL, including 1 today.
He got him again. Kent Graham got him with a hard count.
William Thomas breaks up the pass. But it is against the Eagles. Second time today, Graham has drawn the Eagles offside.
Yeah, we'll try to listen to it.
Defense, number 96, 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
Al Wallace.
You know, the key to the hard count is that voice inflection and having your offensive guys hold still.
Yeah, we got him, baby.
There wasn't that somebody on the sideline said, yeah, we got him, baby. Somebody near the microphone.
They did get him.
Yeah, so that makes this 3rd down conversion a lot easier for Kent Graham.
3rd and 9 becomes 3rd and 4. 5 receivers, 3 split to the right. And the pass intended for the rookie out of Penn State, Joe Jurevicius, but Al Harris got a hand on it.
Hey, that's just great coverage by Al Harris. Harris is a guy picked up from Tampa Bay. And watch the coverage right here. He gets a nice jam at the line of scrimmage. Look at him, just sneaks right around there and bats that ball down. Now, as a defensive back, you're allowed to put your hand on that guy's hip. It's just not allowed to redirect him with that hand.
Maynard's first punt today, 41 yards. Penalty markers on the punt. Rawson from the 15. Nowhere to go. Forced out of bounds at the 18 by Charles Way. A 44-yard punt by Maynard, but a couple of penalty markers. And there's Brandon Sanders, one of those special teams players that the Fossil wanted to get into the lineup today.
Well, Troy Vincent and Tim McTire were mugging him. He was the gunner, split wide to run down and cover the punt. And McTire and Vincent were just all over him.
The officials still in discussion.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 24 on the receiving team.
McTire.
That penalty is declined. Holding, 23 of the receiving team during the punt. That penalty will be accepted. Be half the distance to the goal. Timeout.
I wonder how they decided whose was going to be accepted. There they are, both of them. There's Vincent on the right, McTire on the left, both holding and just mugging Sanders.
They did more than hold. Back at the Meadowlands, quarterback Philippi Sparks has returned. Suffered a sprained right ankle earlier. Eagles start from deep in their own territory, the 8-yard line. On first down, Staley is caught in the backfield by Sam Garnes for a loss of 4 yards.
Well, Sam Garnes is the 8th man in an 8-man front. He comes up late, and he comes on the run blitz from the outside. Here's Garnes. He comes up, he shoots right in there, and it's him versus Staley. Garnes wins.
The Eagles certainly remember Garnes in his NFL debut last year. Returned an interception, 95 yards for a touchdown against Philadelphia. Second and 13. Here's Staley once again up the middle. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Corey Whitmer along with Tito Wooten on the stop.
Well, that's tough. I mean, I know the Eagles want to run the ball, and they were successful on that last drive, getting down into field goal range. But when you're second and long and you're backed up with the crowd as loud as it was on second down, they're going to be twice as loud on third down. Going to be very tough for Bobby Hoying to make any kind of pass adjustments with this crowd.
Third down and 9. You hear the crowd. A quick drop. And Hoying's pass over the middle for the tight end, Jason Dunn. Stopped by Scott Gallion about 3 yards short of the first down marker. Active game for Gallion.
Yeah, you know, and the people in Philadelphia may be saying, well, geez, I mean, how come you threw it short? You know, we needed more than that. You came up short. But, hey, it's a step forward for Bobby Hoying. He needs to take small steps, any step he can right now, because it was a complete pass, and he gave the punter a little more room to kick.
Albeit not much. Hutton from his own 5-yard line. Toomer lets it bounce, and it takes an Eagles roll all the way down to the 32-yard line. A 54-yard punt with the roll by Hutton. Well, Kent Graham has started for Jim Fossil previously, both with the Giants when Fossil was offensive coordinator and as coordinator with the Arizona Cardinals 2 years ago.
And again, Jim Fossil looking for a spark, and a lot of times a backup quarterback can give that to you. Danny Cannell's numbers this season have not been any worse than they were last season at this point in time. This offense needs something new to get it going.
Gary Brown gains 4 yards on first down. James Willis on the stop. And now for an NFL game break, Joe Buck in Los Angeles.
All right, Kenny in Washington already up 3-0. Jake Plummer hits Johnny McWilliams, a 6-yard touchdown throw. Plummer has since run one in. It's 17-0 Cardinals as they bounce back from that loss to Dallas. Back to the Meadowlands. Kenny and Tim.
Well, I guess Chris Collinsworth is going to have a little crow to eat.
Called the Cardinals overrated. As they look to make it 6-5 and a first down as Gary Brown picks up 8 yards.
Well, it's a nice run by Gary Brown, but Kenny, it starts with the offensive line. These guys were a strength of the Giants last season. They need to get back to that. Watch Ron Stone come around and hook block right there on Hugh Douglas. See that block right there? That's what opens up the hole for Gary Brown. That's what Ron Stone was doing last season. Roman Oben, those big guys need to get back to coming off the football as they did in '97.
From the 43, Brown once again up to the 45-yard line. And a penalty marker on the play. Troy Vincent made the tackle.
Yeah, that may be Howard Cross looked like he was getting into it with Greg Jefferson.
And it is against the Eagles. Howard Cross, the only remaining Giant from their Super Bowl 25 club.
And Cross did a nice job.
Hands to the face, number 79, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
79 is Greg Jefferson. And Cross did a nice job of blocking him. Here, watch Cross and watch him put the block on Greg Jefferson. Watch it here. And Jefferson just gets frustrated. Look at that. Cross stays with it. He turns him around, and there's the hand to the face. But a great job of blocking. There it is again, right there. Cross does a nice job of twisting his body and sealing Jefferson off from the play.
First down in Eagles territory. 49, more penalty flags, and the play is blown dead.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Can't be 79 because that's Bernard Holsey. He's a defensive tackle. The Giants have had trouble on the offensive line.
Number 78, false start, number 78.
That's Greg Bishop, left guard.
Bill Carollo still had 79 on his mind from the previous play.
I think so.
Greg Jefferson.
Now, Tiki Barber's in the backfield. He's a guy who really hurt the Eagles last season in both games.
And this is Barber on a draw play up to the 48-yard line. Hollis Thomas made the tackle.
And a lot of times in the NFL, a certain player will just have another team's number. And Tiki Barber had it against the Eagles last season. 120 combined yards and a touchdown in game 1, and 142 combined yards and a touchdown in game 2. Those combined yards being rushing and receiving.
But Jim Fossil told us yesterday Barber needs to pick up his game.
Well, he's dropped a lot of passes, but I think having Kent Graham throw him the ball may help him. Graham's ball comes with such speed, Barber's not going to have time to think about catching it.
2nd and 13. Gary Brown back in. And he takes the swing pass from Graham back into Eagles territory. And William Thomas made the stop. Gain of 5 for Gary Brown.
One of the things the Eagles defensively felt that they had to do today was limit the run after catch. William Thomas is one of the better athletes at the linebacker position. And he showed it on that play because, hey, he had Gary Brown in the open field. Brown caught the ball nicely. He was on the move. Thomas was able to bring him down.
3rd and 9 for the Giants from the Eagles 48. Graham out of the shotgun. 3 wide receivers. Graham in trouble, and he is taken down. The combination of Bill Johnson and Brandon Whiting. 2nd sack of the game by the Eagles.
Well, Kent Graham told Roman Oben yesterday, he said, look, if your guy's coming to the outside, you just ride him on past me. I will step up into the pocket. The problem was Kent Graham couldn't step up into the pocket because Bernard Whiting was there waiting for him.
Brad Maynard back at his own 29. Brett Solomon is the deep man for the Eagles. And Maynard was taken down, a penalty marker. Tim McTire can't believe it.
There's the first down for the Giants.
Roughing the kicker, Giants ball. Tim McTire not happy about the call.
You've got to get a piece of the ball, and that's the only way to keep from getting this penalty. The only way the kicker becomes unsafe is if the ball hits the ground on the snap.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Or if you get a piece of the ball. So McTire gambled, and he lost. Here he comes. You're going to see it right here. Does not touch the ball, and then goes right into the kicker's leg.
McTire in his 2nd season out of Brigham Young, and it sets up terrific field position for the Giants from the Eagles 40.
That's McTire's 2nd penalty.
Caught holding earlier on special teams. Graham pump fakes, throws downfield. Mike Hilliard, the intended receiver, Troy Vincent on the coverage.
And that's a quarterback and his receiver not being on the same page. You know, Kent Graham, as far as receivers go, is naturally going to feel more comfortable with Joe Jaravicius and Amani Toomer. Why? Because they were all on the 2nd team together throughout training camp. So while Danny Cannell is going to know what this certain coverage and that pump fake might mean with Ike Hilliard, it's not going to be the same with Kent Graham.
Gary Brown yard down to the Eagles' 38. Graham told us yesterday he did not take any reps in practice with the first unit until this past week. Graham started 3 games with the Giants during his rookie season back in '92 when Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler were injured. Started another game for the Giants in '94, replacing Dave Brown. And made 14 starts over the last 2 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. He injured his ankle last year in a game against the Giants, and Jake Plummer took over. And this play is blown dead.
Prior to the snap, ball starts. Number 88, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So Ike Hilliard jumping on Kent Graham's hard count. You could hear the hard count. Kent Graham worried about his offensive line holding out through that hard count. And this time it's a receiver that draws the penalty. There's Hilliard.
So 3rd and 13 for the Giants. 4 wideouts, 3 split to the right. Graham rolling right, pump fakes. Al Wallace has got it. 5th sack of the season for the first-year Eagle out of the University of Maryland.
You can tell Kent Graham was thinking about running. There's no reason when the Eagles rush only 3 guys that they should apply pressure to Graham. But Hugh Douglas chases him out of the pocket, and then Al Wallace pulls him down.
Maynard from his own 35. Retired does not rush this time. Maynard angles the punt out of bounds at the 11-yard line. 37-yard kick by Maynard.
John Fox, the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants, wondering why they're 3-7. Last year at this time 6-4. If you look at the defensive numbers, the yards allowed pretty much the same. First downs allowed pretty much the same. Now they're down 5 in the takeaway category. But besides that, his group has played on a level that they did last year, a level that got them to the playoffs.
Eagles from their own 13-yard line, and Hoying's pass is caught by the tight end Jason Dunn. A gain of 11. Sam Garnes made the tackle.
And Jason Dunn just bodies Garnes on this play. He became involved last week, had 4 passes, his best day as a pro. And watch him here just turn and shield Garnes out with his body, bring that ball in. Nice concentration by the young tight end.
3rd catch today for Dunn. 1 shy of last week's career best total. 3 wide receivers. First down from the 24. Good hold for D. Staley across the 30 to the 33-yard line. A pickup of 9 yards.
And I like this idea by the Eagles to spread the defense. Come out 3 wide receivers, split them wide, spread the defense out, and then just go with a quick dive right up the middle. There's 2 receivers here, there's 1 here, and so the defense is a lot softer. And then you watch Staley comes right up the pipe there. Some nice blocking by the Eagles.
2nd down and 1. Staley looked to be stopped just short. Keith Hamilton was the first Giant in.
Yeah, Keith Hamilton, I mean, he stormed the gates on that one. He came right through the line of scrimmage and disrupted that play in the backfield. And then Corey Widmer was there to finish it up.
And the Eagles did pick up the first down on the play.
And Kenny, when you get into a game like today, the run game becomes so important to both teams. When they have inexperienced quarterbacks, and the Eagles so far winning that battle with 4.4 yards a carry.
Hoying calls timeout, but the Eagles have not outscored once again today, and that has been the story of their season, averaging just 9.2 points per game. And they made a change a month ago. Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator. Bill Musgrave, the former NFL quarterback, now calls the plays for the Eagles. Musgrave on the left. This his 5th game calling the plays.
I know he's received some criticism because they've scored even less points in the last several weeks with him calling the plays. But I like what he's done so far today. I like the way he spread the defense and then ran Staley up the middle. I like the reverse early in the game using Dietrich Gels, the fastest guy on their team. I like his decision to get the ball to Jason Dunn, a tight end who's starting to come into his own.
Musgrave was in camp with the Colts, but he was cut. And Ray Rhodes brought him in. They were together in San Francisco, and Musgrave was a backup quarterback. 5 wide receivers. Another empty set for the Eagles, and the pass is caught downfield by Jason Dunn, his 4th reception of the game. A penalty flag, a gain of 32 for Dunn.
I think it's going to be holding against the Eagles. That really epitomizes their season. Come up with a big play and have it called back.
Holding, number 72, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
That's Trey Thomas. He's blocking Chad Bratsky on this play. Right here's Thomas, the left tackle. Bratsky over the top of him. And let's take a look at it. Gets him hooked right around the neck. And the official saw it. Nice call by the official. A lot of times those holding penalties are nebulous. Was it holding, isn't it? I mean, that was about as clear as it could be.
Some coaches say you could call holding on every play in a football game.
Well, you could.
So a 32-yard pickup is erased. 1st and 20, Staley out to the 28-yard line. Jesse Armstead and Robert Harris made the stop as the clock winds down. Under 4 minutes remaining in the first half. The only scoring a 40-yard field goal by the Giants' Brad Daloiso.
It's really surprising that the Eagles have gotten as much yardage on the ground as they have so far today. And we saw that graphic earlier, that running for about 4.4 yards a carry, when in fact the Giants defense has been in an 8-man front much of the time, determined to shut that run down. 75 yards on the ground for the Eagles.
Hoying from the shotgun, throws it away. He was under pressure, and this could be intentional grounding because the ball did not cross the line of scrimmage.
Well, and it was not a conceivably catchable ball. That's just an inexperienced quarterback.
6th Eagles penalty of the first half.
That's not going to be intentional grounding, though.
Ineligible receiver on the offense, number 61, illegally downfield. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Steve Everett, the culprit.
The Giants defense ran the blitz, but then they sniffed that play out. Watch him here. Some of the guys come. Look at him redirect. Bratsky, Hamilton. There's Jesse Armstead right there, all over that screenplay.
Irving Fryer, the man in motion. 3rd and 15. Warren's pass is caught by Deuce Staley. Good second effort, but stopped short of the first down marker by Carlton Gray. Staley needed 15. He gained 11.
That really was a great effort. You know, when you have a team that's struggled the way the Eagles have, you try to look for your bright spots, and Deuce Staley is a bright spot. Staley, Charlie Garner, both at the running back position, have averaged 4 yards a carry throughout this season, and that's pretty good.
Staley, the leading rusher and receiver coming into the game this season. This takes an Eagles bounce. Amani Toomer elected to let it go.
It's a bad election.
So the Giants will start from their own 18 to 41-yard punt. Well, on Fox's Big Splash Sunday, as Homer spread in hot water, find out on an all-new Simpsons, followed by That 70s Show. Plus, it's the moment you've waited for, an all-new X-Files. Big Splash Sunday starts tonight with the world's funniest at 7, 6 Central.
You know what the moment was that everybody's been waiting for?
What was the moment?
You saw it. Mulder kissed Scully on the X-Files.
I know you were waiting for that moment.
Well, I thought they were going to do it in the X-Files movie this summer, but
it did not happen. Gary Brown battled hard to gain just 1 yard. Michael Zordich made the stop.
Zordich, again, you talk about the 8-man front. He's the safety. Most of the time, he's going to be up there, be the extra man. And the Eagles have been able to play those 8-man fronts because of the talent of their cornerbacks. Bobby Taylor on one side, Troy Vincent on the other side. Really one of the better tandems in the National Football League, and that's why the Eagles' pass defense is #2 in the National Football League.
Vincent and Taylor, along with the safeties Dawkins and Zordich, the 4 as a combination have started only 2 games this season. Eagles have won both.
Yeah, and the thing that the Eagles can do with Taylor is take him, put him on a big physical receiver and have him bang him around all game long.
Well, we have hit the 2-minute warning from the Meadowlands. A 3-0 Giants lead. 2 minutes to go, first half. Giants 3, Eagles nothing. Penalty markers on 2nd and 9. Busy first half for the officiating crew. Referee Bill Carollo in his 10th NFL season.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense to left guard. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
The second penalty against Greg Bishop.
So the Giants now with a 2nd and 14 from their own 14-yard line. Graham pump fakes and then dumps it off to Gary Brown, met immediately by Mike Caldwell.
Man, Caldwell leveled him.
And the Eagles stop the clock. They call their final timeout.
Ray Rhodes told us yesterday this has been a hard-hitting game since I was with the Giants. Watch this here. Look at Caldwell. Man, that's a tough shot.
Rhodes said the Giants are the most physical team the Eagles face.
And that was an Eagle being physical on that play. It's enough to make Gary Brown probably want to go back to his couch in Williamsport.
Caldwell, a teammate of Ken Graham last year with the Cardinals. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Joe Buck along with Ron Pitts will have scores as well as highlights from around the National Football League. And our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. Eagles call time. They hope to get the ball back.
Well, Kenny, the best thing the Giants offense has done so far today was that one long pass from Ken Graham to Chris Callaway that set up the field goal. Otherwise, the Eagles, who struggled stopping the run, have really limited the Giants' running game.
3rd down and 18. Graham from the end zone, a short pass, a penalty marker.
Wow.
And Charles Way took a couple of hits.
Yeah, he took Troy Vincent for a ride.
Gain of 15. The Giants needed 18.
Yeah, but if it's an interference or a holding, it's going to be a first down. This would be the second drive kept alive for the
Illegal
Giants.
contact, number 21 defense. The 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, that's Bobby Taylor. We talked about him a few minutes ago and how he plays that quarterback position in a very physical way. It's exactly what they were talking about on the pregame show. Here's Taylor right down there, and you see he lines up, head up on the wide receiver, and you're going to watch him right there. Bang. Boy, that didn't look like much to me.
It's only the 6th first down for the Giants. 3 have come via penalties. 4 wide wide receivers, the Eagles may have done the Giants a favor by calling that timeout. They give the Giants some more time. 4th catch of the season for the rookie second-round draft pick, Joe Jurevicius.
Well, he's the guy that we said Ken Graham feels very comfortable with. He threw to him all preseason in training camp. And Jurevicius, the most impressive thing about him is the size. 6'5", 230 pounds, but still has the speed to run routes downfield.
4 wide out, 2nd and 5. Graham steps up, throws, looking for Jurevicius. He makes the catch! 59 yards.
And that's what 6'5", 230 pounds can do for you. When the ball goes up in the air, you can out-muscle the guy with the coverage. Al Harris has got him man-to-man. Watch Jurevicius just run straight downfield. And watch him use his body here. Look, he comes back to that ball. He jumps higher. He's a bigger target. And he out-muscles Al Harris. You know, Kent Graham's in trouble. He's going to look to a guy who he feels comfortable with.
Ken Graham compared Jurevicius to a young Ed McCaffrey, a former Giant.
Yeah, and they play the game the same way. As a receiver, you think about quickness, you think about speed. But a lot of times, a guy with a big body with some natural innate aggressiveness who's willing to use it can be even more valuable than a guy who can race downfield.
Longest pass play of the season for the Giants.
So it's another Kent Graham long pass that's put the Giants into another scoring position.
So the Giants following a timeout with 55 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Lonnie Holloway has come in at right tackle, the former Jet, replacing Scott Gregg. 1st and 10 from the 20. Graham fires. Whoa, looking for Monty Toomer. Instead, he made the connection with a photographer behind the goalpost.
I mean, that was a misfired ball. You know, Kent Graham's got that big arm, and sometimes you got an arm like that, it can get away from you, and it gets away from him on this play. Great protection by the offensive line. Malele now replaced again by Scott Gregg. Malele did his job on that last play.
2nd and 10. Graham intended for Jurevicius. 3rd down upcoming.
Just another bad pass. Kent Graham's got to settle down. I know he's excited. I know he wants to get a touchdown for the Giants here. They haven't had one in a long time. But he's got to just get that cannon under control. Bring that ball down. He would have had a score on the first one that he missed and a 1st down on the second one he missed.
Giants approaching 11 quarters without a touchdown. 3rd and 10. Graham from the shotgun. And the pass deflected and then picked off by Brian Dawkins. Dawkins across the 30, finally upended by Kiki Barber. Only the 4th interception of the season by the Eagles, their 1st in the last 5 games.
Graham tried to thread the needle. He tried to gun it through the coverage, and I think it was Bobby Taylor who just reached in and got his hand on it. It's the same throw he made before. Yep, it's Bobby Taylor. And Taylor does a great job of getting his hand out and batting that pass up into the air. That's great defense. Taylor's body's going one way, and he comes back the other way. I think Ken Graham finds out what it's like to get hit like a defensive lineman.
2nd interception of the season for Dawkins, who returned a pick 64 yards for a touchdown against the Giants last year. So now the Eagles with a half-minute remaining as Hoying airs it out. Jeff Graham, the intended receiver, and a penalty flag.
Looks like it's against the, yeah, it is, Giants.
Meadowlands, number 91, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Second-year man Ryan Phillips. So the Giants, following the 59-yard pass play from Graham to Jurevicius, turn it over in the red zone 3 plays later.
Well, this is not the strength of this Eagles defense, trying to push the ball all the way downfield with just 24 seconds left. The deep pass has been their weak link all year.
Eagles with no timeouts remaining. Hoying taken down by Chad Bradsky. He now has 8.5 sacks to lead the Giants.
I talked with Bradsky on the field right before the game. No coincidence that it's a contract year for him. And that's always the best time to get your sacks as a defensive lineman. Bradsky right here works around Trey Thomas. He's been giving Trey Thomas problems all day. We saw Thomas get the holding penalty earlier in the game. This time Bradsky seals the fate of the Eagles, making sure they go in scoreless in another half of football.
A 3-0 lead for the New York Giants, a 40-yard field goal. Brad Deloiso accounting for the only points of the first half. The Visa halftime report is coming up after this. And we'll return to the Meadowlands after the... Well, the Philadelphia Eagles crossed over the Walt Whitman Bridge and made the 100-mile trip up the New Jersey Turnpike. They had a chance to look at New York City from across the river, and they finally arrived at the Meadowlands, and they trail the New York Giants at halftime by the score of 3-0, thanks to a 40-yard field goal by Giants place kicker Brad Deloiso. Time now for our halftime internet feature. First hour, you call it question. Log on to www.foxsports.com. And our question today, which team will have the least number of first downs in the second half of today's game? And our Ask the Pros question for Tim comes to us from John in Texas. And John would like to know, Tim, what do you think is the cause of the Eagles' demise over the past 2 years?
Well, I certainly don't think it's the coaching, especially the head coaching. I think Ray Rhodes is one of the better coaches in the National Football League. He got there to Philadelphia, took them to the playoffs 2 times in a row, and he's a coach that everyone around the league knows if he doesn't last this year with Philly, which he probably won't, he's going to find a job somewhere else. He'll be able to be a defensive coordinator, or he'll be able to even be a head coach. He's a guy who can pretty much name where and what he wants to do. The problem for the Philadelphia Eagles has been with personnel. Choosing people in the draft that are effective, that meet their needs, and then hanging on to the people that they need and replacing the people that have gotten a little too old. A guy like Irving Fryer, who's hit the wall, who needs to, there's no young guys to come up behind him and achieve the skill level that he once had.
And the Eagles also lost a tremendous asset during the offseason, their former offensive coordinator, John Gruden, now the head coach of the 7-3 Oakland Raiders. Giants leading this one 3-0. Time now to take a look at the first half highlights.
Well, the best thing about the Giants so far today has been a couple long passes by Kent Graham. This is the second of his 2. The first one set up a field goal. This one to Joe Jurevicius right before the half. But then on first down, Kent Graham uses that strong arm, misfires. He throws over the head of Amani Toomer. Second down, another misfire. This time he throws wild over the head of Joe Jurevicius. And then on third down, Kent Graham's ball was intercepted, stopping the Giants from another potential score.
A short kickoff by Vonial, and the Giants fall on it at the 27-yard line as Greg Comella, the rookie fullback out of Stanford, came up with the football on the short kick. So Kent Graham leads the Giants offense back onto the football field. Graham 7 of 13 in the first half, 106 yards, 59 coming on the one throw to Joe Jurevicius. Gary Brown on first down out to the 34-yard line. William Thomas made the stop after a gain of 8 by Brown.
It's a nice run to the outside by Brown. The thing that I liked about that play most was Chris Callaway out on the edge, blocking against Bobby Taylor. Look at this block here. Again, Taylor's a big physical cornerback. Callaway gets into him. He's tenacious. He sticks to him. That's what enables Brown to make that big gain.
Brown averaging 4 yards per carry today.
You know, Brown is not a fancy guy, and he's not a guy that's everyone's saying, well, he's the answer to the Giants' run woes. If you look at him, he's averaged over 4 yards a carry all season long. He's sturdy. He's strong. You know, he doesn't think that he's something he's not. He doesn't think that he's Barry Sanders or Terrell Davis. He knows he's a guy who's going to get in there and pick up a hard 3, 4, 5 yards for you.
Charles Way was the Giants' leading rusher last year. They brought in Brown during the offseason. You mentioned Tyrone Wheatley earlier. He has been active in only 4 games this season. Fossil wants to see him pick up the consistency. Greg Jefferson is the injured Eagle and will return after this.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Porsche, who wish to remind you there is no substitute.
On third down, Graham on the play fake. Off the fingertips of Juravicius.
Juravicius got to catch that ball. Nice play action pass by Ken Graham. He puts it right where only Juravicius can catch it. The Eagles' best cornerback's on the coverage. It's nice tight coverage, and Juravicius has got to catch that football. He's a rookie.
Alan Rossum back deep for the Eagles. Good kick by Maynard. Rossum from the 14. Forced out of bounds by Charles Way at the 24-yard line. A 52-yard punt by Maynard. Thanksgiving Day. Get a double dose of Fox Sports. Justin Leonard, Annika Sorensen, and Jim Colbert show off their short games at the Sun Microsystems Par 3 Challenge, followed by the Vikings and the Cowboys. It all starts at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific.
That is a great football game on Thanksgiving. You know you're going to watch the game anyway because it's Thanksgiving and football goes with it, but that's a great game.
The Vikings and the Cowboys. Minnesota 9-1, and the Cowboys leading the NFC East. Off the play fake, Hoying can't find anyone downfield and takes it out of bounds at the 32-yard line, a gain of 8.
Well, this is an interesting play. The Eagles have bootlegged several times to the right. This time they bootleg to the left, and I love what Jason Dunn, the tight end, 87, does in this play. He sees that it's not going to be a pass. Watch him turn around and become a blocker. That's a great play. That is just heads-up football by the young tight end.
Dunn coming on the last 2 weeks in all aspects following a slow start. Here's Staley. Sam Garnes over the top. Well, we've chronicled the Eagles' offensive woes this season, averaging under 10 points per game. And for Bobby Hoying, through the first half today, 86 drives, only 3 touchdowns. You can see the numbers. Rodney Peete, who started 4 games.
Yeah, in half the drives, Pete has had almost twice the amount of points.
Amazing numbers. Only 3 touchdowns in 86 drives with Bobby Hoying at quarterback. Penalty flag. Deuce Staley has the first down and more. Tripped up as he crossed the 40-yard line by the combination of Michael Strahan and Chad Bratsky.
Yeah, I don't wonder if that's going to be a chop block. I saw Dunn coming in on the motion.
And it is against Philadelphia.
Illegal motion. Number 87 going forward at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Just when you get to bragging on a guy's heads-up play, turns the bootleg pass into a run and blocks. And when you're going to run, you've got to run parallel to the line of scrimmage. And he gets going just a little bit downfield to try to get the edge on Chad Bratsky.
4 wide receivers, 3rd and 8 for the Eagles. Hoying, and the pass is incomplete. off the hands of Fred Solomon.
And that's exactly what we talked about right at the beginning of the game. You got a young quarterback. He's struggling. He's trying to find himself, rebuild his confidence, and the ball is in the receiver's hands. It's another drop pass. Philadelphia has more drop passes than anyone in the National Football League.
Tom Hutton's punt is fielded at the 34-yard line by Amani Toomer. Across the 45 to the 46. 40-yard punt, 12 on the return. Mike Zordich brought Toomer down, but a penalty flag is down as well. Again, against the Eagles. 11 penalties in the first half.
Ineligible player on the kicking team illegally downfield. Number 54. That penalty is declined. New York will keep the ball. First down. Timeout.
Jeremiah Trotter, rookie linebacker, the guilty party. Giants with a 3-0 lead. Take over when we return.
Joe Jaravicius isn't the starter at wide receiver, but he's proven to be Kent Graham's favorite target today, getting the most passes of any wide receiver. He's got 5, caught 2 of them for 65 yards.
Some trickery from the Giants as Way hands it off. Ike Hilliard spins and is cut down by William Thomas. A gain of only 3 yards on the end around to Ike Hilliard. His first carry of the season.
Well, I got to tell you, Brian Dawkins shows outstanding speed on this play to run this thing down and make Ike Hilliard make the cut. Look, I mean, it looks like Hilliard has got the whole field. Watch Dawkins. Look at that. Look at the speed that he closes on Hilliard. Makes him cut back, and William Thomas is there to make the tackle.
Graham on second down. Over the top, broken up by Thomas. Howard Cross was the intended receiver, and William Thomas got the hand in.
Well, 2 things wrong with that play for the Giants offense. First, Howard Cross doesn't have the best hands in the world. Second, Hugh Douglas puts a nice inside move on Robin Oben. There he just smacks him off, comes right inside, and drills Kent Graham.
Big lead for the Arizona Cardinals. Dallas by 2 over Seattle. Early third quarter. As we check out the scores. 3-0 Giants here at the Meadowlands. 3rd and 6. And Graham's pass incomplete. Big hit by William Thomas as Graham was looking for Tiki Barber.
Yeah. A low pass, though. Tiki's having enough problems trying to hang on to the football without getting a low pass with William Thomas coming at him 100 miles an hour.
So the Giants, who lead the league in 3 and outs, go 3 and out for the 3rd time today. 54 on the season.
Got a little bit of that punt.
And a penalty marker on the punt as well.
Well, now it's holding against the Giants.
Only 26 yards on the Maynard punt.
Someone got a piece of that punt. And that's why it only went 26 yards.
Number 43 on the kicking team. That penalty is declined. Receivers will keep the ball. First down. Timeout.
Hugh Douglas is the guy who gets there and just gets his hand on that punt.
Eagles decline the penalty. They trail 3-0.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By IBM, are you ready for e-business? By the all-new Alero by Oldsmobile, start something. And by Citizen, today more than ever, Citizen is how the world tells time.
Sold out as usual here at Giant Stadium.
Can't keep them away.
Despite the 3-7 season.
I love that about New York.
The Eagles start from their own 25. And Hoying's pass is caught by Jeff Graham across the 30. Graham's second catch of the day. And only the second catch by an Eagles wideout.
Well, the Giants determined to stop the run, come out in their bare defense. They put 3 guys right here in the middle. They bring this guy right up over the tight end. And the solution to that is a quick pass by Bobby Hoying to the outside. That's what you do. That bear defense is good at stopping the run, but weak against the quick pass.
Irving Fryer in motion. Second down and 4. Hugh Staley leaps over the top and picks up the first down.
What a great effort by Staley. You know, you read the articles during the week to get ready for the game, and you read what people are saying in Philadelphia, writers is talking about, have the guys quit. Watch this play. Has this guy quit? Have the Eagles quit and laid down? I mean, look at that. The guy is just putting himself up in the air, risking life and limb for a first down in a 3-0 game. You think they've quit? You're nuts.
Fake to Staley, and the pass to Staley. Terrific second effort, has another first down.
Man, you see what he did to Tito Wooten? Oh, jeez. Man, he just says, Tito, you're not here. Watch Staley, comes out of the backfield, sits right up there in the middle. Now Wooten's right on top, and watch him. Wham! Just puts a forearm right up under Wooten's chin. Says, go home.
Tito's still here. Despite the message from Staley. Deuce once again. And this time is met by Jesse Armstead. Eagles have only scored 1 third-quarter touchdown all season long, so whatever halftime adjustments are made in the locker room, not been working too well. They've been outscored 67-7 in the third quarter.
Well, what they've got going right now is a little bit of a drive, and they've got a run game going. I think they need to spread the field and keep that run game going.
Second down and 8. Hoying, pump fakes, and is taken down. Michael Strahan, sack number 9.
There's another guy out there, bad back, playing with pain, battling Richard Cooper. Here he is. He's going to come right out here and working on Richard Cooper to the outside. Just gets up under Cooper's pads, drives him back, comes underneath.
Ray Rhodes told us yesterday, despite the back injury, he said Strahan is still Strahan. 14 sacks last year, 9 here in '98. And the Eagles have allowed the most sacks of any team in the NFL. And there's another one.
Tito.
Second sack of the season for Tito Wooten.
Saying, take that, Deuce Staley. You may have run me over, but I just stopped your drive. Here's Wooten. He comes up right here. He blitzes right through the middle, and nobody blocks him.
3 sacks for the Giants today. Amani Toomer. Toomer thrown out of bounds at the 25 and a penalty flag. Perhaps a late hit following the 12-yard return by Toomer. Ryan Dawkins looks to be shaken up. And it is a personal foul, a late hit against the Eagles.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 56 on the kicking team. After the player was out of bounds, it'll be a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Mike Caldwell.
Timeout.
Dawkins does a nice job of staying home, forcing Toomer out of bounds, and he's clearly out when Caldwell puts the hit on him.
So the Giants take over in Eagles territory in a moment. Kenny Albert, Tim Green from Giant Stadium. Glad you've joined us on Fox NFL Sunday. Giants with a 3-0 lead. Mid-third quarter. With Kent Graham starting for the first time this season. From the 49 on first down, Terry Brown, a big hole. Picks up a first down at the Eagles 39. Mike Caldwell made the tackle, a gain of 10.
It was a nice block by Charles Way to cut the defender down in the backfield and give Gary Brown this hole. Watch Way right here and watch the immediate block he gets right there on the linebacker. Stops James Willis, and then it's a nice open field for Gary Brown. I'll tell you, Kenny, Kent Graham needs to get some numbers going, because right now he's only 7 of 16, 106 yards, and an interception. I know it was his long pass to Callaway that led to the only 3 points the Giants have, but he needs to get some things going in the air if he wants to convince Jim Fossil that, hey, I should remain in this position, because, you know, Fossil was talking about Danny Cannell as this being a timeout for him, not necessarily a permanent replacement. And Fossil told us yesterday it was a week-to-week thing. I mean, Danny Cannell standing on the sideline saying, hey, I could do this.
Well, Brown was stopped just short. Now picks up the first down. Fossil told us yesterday it's important in his mind to see how Cannell deals with the benching mentally. Fossil pointed out, hey, Phil Simms was benched twice.
Yeah. And you know, and we'll see what happens with this. But one of the things that's helping Kent Graham right now is the Giants are getting the run game going. Watch the trap here by Greg Bishop. They run this little trap play, and there's a nice hole there for Gary Brown. So the Giants' offensive line starting to take control of this game.
Penalty markers, Brown down to the Eagles' 29-yard line.
Yeah, the Eagles' defense didn't get all their guys off the field. Greg Jefferson was running off before the ball was snapped, or after the ball was snapped.
And there's the 9th Eagles penalty today.
12 men on defense. That penalty is declined on the defense. Offsides, number 79. That penalty is accepted. Be a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Greg Jefferson was the guy who didn't get off fast enough.
So a 1st and 5 at the Eagles' 28.
There's Jefferson right there, and there's the ball being snapped wisely by Kent Graham when he sees the confusion.
2 tight ends. And the pitch back to Brown with Charles Way leading the way, but James Willis forces Brown back for a loss.
Well, Charles Way got James Willis on that earlier play, but this time Willis just runs right past Charles Way to make that tackle. Said, you may get me once, but you're not going to get me twice. Just dodges right in the back away to make that play.
Willis, the former Green Bay Packer, a loss of 4. And somebody on the Giants move.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
Ron Stone, the right guard. Jim Fossil's club has scored over 30 points 3 times this year. They've won all 3 of those games. In their 7 losses, the Giants have averaged only 10 points. 3 here today, yet they are winning. 3-0. Under 6 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Play fake. Brown could not find anyone. And it's taken down by James Willis and Al Wallace at the 37.
Well, I told you those Eagles cornerbacks are good at their coverage. Here's Troy Vincent. He's got Hilliard. Bobby Taylor's up with Callaway up at the top of the field. And it's really Zordich with the underneath coverage, Vincent with the over-the-top coverage. And Kent Graham's got no place to go. I mean, the crowd is booing him right now. But there's nothing you can do. I mean, you don't want him to put the ball up and come up with an interception.
3 wide receivers, 3rd and 13. Giants only 1 of 9 on 3rd down today. Graham's pass is caught for a first down. Only the second conversion on third down. Amani Toomer, a gain of 14.
And this is exactly what Kent Graham was talking about yesterday when he told Roman Oben and Scott Gregg. He said, ride those guys to the outside. Watch it here. I'll step up into the pocket. Graham steps up and delivers that ball downfield with authority.
Well, it was a 3rd and 13, and we'll see where they spot it.
Yeah, this is a nice third down conversion.
That is a first down.
Graham just guns that ball in there. Now, you see, Toomer was covered. Troy Vincent had the coverage, but Graham gunned it back to Toomer's inside shoulder. And Toomer made a nice catch coming back for it.
Harry Brown.
Now, this is what they like in New York. Have a third down, gun the ball down, pick it up, now get that run game going again. And all it is a body on a body. And Jim Fossil telling that offensive line, look, you see these people out here? They want to see some smash mouth ball. They want to see you move those Eagles off the line, open up some holes, get some hard running, and get this game going.
2 tight ends set. 2nd and 5. Charles Way.
Shades of 1997, Kenny. Nice cut by Way. Watch him start this way, cuts back against the grain, and there's some great blocking backside by Scott Gregg.
First and goal on the Eagles 6. Up the middle. Gain of 2 yards down to the 4. Steve Martin made the stop.
We talked about Kent Graham's numbers, and they're not great, but he has come up with some big plays. Again, the pass to Callaway that led to the first field goal, then the long pass to Juravicius before halftime. He followed that with an interception, so it came to nothing. But if they score on this drive, it'll be because Graham made the big third down conversion to Amani Toomer.
2nd and goal. Gary Brown.
This is just what they like. Some hard blocking, some hard running. Watch Charles Way leading the way, and watch Gary Brown run through 2 tackles to get into the end zone. Run through John Harris, the defensive end, run through William Thomas, the linebacker.
3rd touchdown of the season for Gary Brown. Galoiso adds the extra point, and the Giants lead is now 10-0. Giants score their first touchdown in more than 11 quarters.
You talk about quarterback statistics, and Kent Graham right now is only 8 of 17 for 120 yards, but the only stat that Jim Fossil cares about is the 1-loss stat. He's getting some help with his line, and Charles Way with a great block on the safety, Michael Zordich. Gary Brown just wanted it.
Well, we mentioned earlier, Gary Brown grew up an Eagles fan in Williamsport. Charles Way, his family had Eagles season tickets, and the combination of Brown and Way have extended the Giants' lead. Short kickoff by Daloiso, rolls out of bounds, so the Eagles get it on the 40.
Kickoff out of bounds by the kicking team. By rule, the receivers will keep the ball at the 40-yard line. First down.
Kenny, there's the scoring drive. 18 plays, 68 yards. A lot of it running. 8 runs for 31 yards. But don't forget, the key play to keep this baby alive was that 3rd down pass. Here's Kent Graham, and he delivers this ball downfield back to the inside to Amani Toomer. They're one of the 2 receivers that he's most comfortable with for that big play.
And now the Eagles start from their own 40-yard line following the out-of-bounds kickoff. Boys pass short, intended for Charlie Garner. And tonight, on an all-new episode of the X-Files, critics are calling it a mind-blower, a tour de force episode. Don't miss the moment Tim Green has been waiting for on the X-Files. An all-new episode begins tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
You said it like that's the most important moment of my life, and it's not, but
maybe
I was waiting for it.
One of the most important moments tonight.
No, I don't think so.
2nd and 10 from the 40. Garner up the middle. A gain of 5 yards to the 45. Percy Ellsworth made the tackle.
The Giants are starting to roll in some backup players. They're starting to give some time to some guys that aren't normally in there. There's Scott Gallion in there, Christian Peter at the tackle position.
Fossil said he would give some of the reserves a shot, depending on the situation. Hoying's pass behind Russell Copeland.
And I think the situation with even just a 10-point lead against this offense and this quarterback is safe enough to put your backups in. And that's a pretty bad commentary on the Philadelphia offense.
Punt fielded by Toomer at the 23. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Anthony Marshall made the stop, a 32-yard punt, 17 on the return. Well, Tim, one of the most memorable moments in the Eagles-Giants series. 20 years ago, this past Thursday, the miracle at the Meadowlands. Herman Edwards, the 26-yard return as Joe Pisarcik, instead of falling on the ball in the final minute, tried a handoff to Larry Zonka.
And Ray Rhodes told us yesterday, he was on the sideline, part of the Giants' defense in that game. He said that locker room was destroyed after the game. The frustration of the Giants players was so incredible. Lockers were smashed, benches broken, helmets flying across the room like comets.
And the offensive coordinator who called the play, Bob Gibson, was let go the next day. Giants were 5-6 at the time, as Gary Brown carries it out across the 45-yard line. Pisarcik, ironically, 2 years later, became a member of the Eagles. You don't think he ever heard about it in the locker room, do you?
Probably about twice a day. And even that frustrating experience 20 years ago does not match the frustration Ray Rhodes is feeling today and this season with what's happened to his team.
Charles Wade up to the 49-yard line, close to a first down.
And this really is what the Giants did last season when they won their division. They were able to get a lead, not a big lead, and then they just kind of slug it to you. They just start running the ball, grinding it out, using up the clock. They played tough defense as they've played today, shutting out Philadelphia so far. You see that while Philadelphia had some success running the ball in the first half, they have not in the second.
Just short of a first down. Detroit over Tampa Bay, early fourth quarter. The 8-2 Falcons trailing by a field goal. Arizona all over Washington. What a season for rookie head coach Ken Gailey in Dallas.
Well, he's got a great quarterback. That's where every team begins, that quarterback position.
Graham on the sneak.
And I think for Kent Graham or for any quarterback, that's how it starts. You know, you do little things like that play right there. You know, Graham's a big, strong guy. Not a big play, nothing spectacular, but you do a bunch of little things and you start to get guys believing in you.
That will do it for the third quarter as time winds down. Gary Brown, a 4-yard touchdown run. Giants lead the Eagles 10-0. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these words from your local Fox station.
Well, obviously, our director, Rich Russo, is hungry because of all the sights in the stadium. He's chosen these Philly cheesesteak heads to focus on.
We don't get much food down in the production truck.
Nope.
Well, the Eagles fans watching as their team is trailing 10-0. First play of the fourth quarter. Gary Brown met by William Thomas.
Well, after the way Gary Brown ran through William Thomas for the touchdown, again, you know, Thomas sure felt like he had something to show. You look at the passing yards there, and although it hasn't been a spectacular day for Kent Graham, he certainly outgunned Bobby Hoying. Hoying, the lowest rated starting quarterback in the National Football League.
Gary Brown with a burst up the middle. Well, you mentioned Hoying with the low quarterback rating. Grouped with a couple of rookies, Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning, and the Giants' Danny Cannell.
Yeah, I was surprised to look at Cannell's numbers, and his completion percentage last year and this year is the same, 53%.
Graham on 3rd and 5, takes off. Oh, he got inadvertently kicked by Al Harris as he was taken down by Al Wallace. Fans want the Giants to go for it, 4th and 1.
With the Eagles' offense being as inept as they are, you might as well.
No, it had to be on the line. When we flipped the quarter, it was on.
And the Giants will go for it on 4th and 1 from the Eagles' 41-yard line.
Kent Graham told us 3rd down, if it wasn't there, he was going to go for it. He does. It's a nice job of Al Wallace bringing him down.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the Grand Am with solid form design. It's excitement, well built from Pontiac. By Paramount Pictures' Star Trek Insurrection, starts Friday, December 11th, rated PG. By Transamerica, the people in the pyramid working for you. And by Intel, makers of the amazing Pentium 2 processor.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green back at the Meadowlands. Early 4th quarter, Giants 10 and the Eagles nothing. Giants have had success on 4th down this year. 4th and 1, Gary Brown, he's got it.
Well, as I said, you can run that play without a lot of fear because the Eagles' offense has struggled so much, but they do it on the line of scrimmage. Scott Gregg beats his guy, makes a block. Way leads up through, blocks the linebacker. Look at Gregg right there. He buries John Harris.
So the Giants with a near set of down. Charles Wade inside the 35 to the 33-yard line.
They're just mashing them now. And this is what the Giants need. I mean, they need to do this. They need to have these, it's almost like practice reps for their offensive line. Because if they're ever going to be what they were last year, they're going to do it because these big guys up front start to blocking. I think sometimes when you win the division, you start to think that you don't have to work as hard, but you do.
2nd and 6. The pitch back to Brown. James Willis made the tackle after a gain of 2 yards.
It's really been a big difference in the run game. The Giants really couldn't do anything in the first game, in the first half, and now they're already over 100 yards rushing, 113 yards on the day. You see their offense last week, 127 yards, only 9 first downs. Today, 218.
Last week, a 37-3 loss to the Green Bay Packers. 4 wide receivers. 3rd and 5. Graham lofting it up for Ike Hilliard.
The Eagles came with that all-out blitz, and again, that's Kent Graham not having a feel for Ike Hilliard, and Ike Hilliard not having a feel for Kent Graham. Here comes the unblocked blitzers right there. McTire, Graham puts that ball up. Hilliard turned too late.
So now Brad D'Aloiso, who hit from 40 earlier, will attempt a 49-yard field goal. His season long is 46. Brad Maynard is the holder. And D'Aloiso's kick just makes it through. 49 yards. And it extends the Giants' lead to 13-0. The 11:04 remaining, a 13-0 Giants lead. Eagles have already been shut out twice this year by Seattle and Dallas. They have not been shut out 3 times in one season since 1942. Aloiso's kickoff bounces into and then out of the end zone. The Eagles will start on their own 20-yard line. Can the U.S. team of John Daly and Scott Verplank come back against an English team of Nick Faldo and David Carter that was leading after the 3rd round? The World Cup of Golf, 4:30 Eastern, right here on Fox.
What were you doing in 1942?
I was not watching any of those shutouts. Were you playing football? Were you writing books back in 1942?
No.
I know you are here in 1998.
Absolutely.
Eagles trailing 13-0 on their own 20-yard line. 3 wide receivers. Graham in motion. And Hoying is taken down just behind the line of scrimmage by Tito Wooten.
There's great coverage downfield by the Giants' defensive backs because Philly's offensive line gave Hoying plenty of time on that play. But you're going to see he had no place to throw, or if he did have a place to throw, he didn't see it. You know, because there's the coverage right there, there. Everybody's covered up. And Hoying still has a pocket.
Wooten credited with his 2nd sack of the game. On 2nd down, Hoying over the top. Charlie Garner, met by Conrad Hamilton.
And Charlie Garner did a fake with the ball. Hoying just gets this little dump pass off past Robert Harris. And then Garner gives the ball fake to the defense to give himself the 1st down.
From the 30. Hoying under pressure. Another sack. It's Jesse Armstead.
Well, Bobby Hoying was going along last season. In 3 games, they were 2-0-1. Things were looking great. He was the toast of the town. Then they came to the Meadowlands, and the Giants' defense blitzed the heck out of him. They sacked him 4 times. He had 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and they did it because they brought guys like Armstead on the blitz, and they hammered Hoying. It's been downhill ever since. The Giants have 5 sacks on today's game.
Hoying has now been sacked 56 times in his 13 starts over the last 2 years. caught. A nice catch. First of the season for Dietrich Gels. We talked about him earlier on the end around. And Gels gained 16.
The thing that Gels has is great speed. So it's smart to have him out there, not just running 9 routes, but running patterns.
Hoying on the quarterback sneak. So the Eagles wide receivers with 3 receptions today, 2 by Graham, 1 by Gels. Fryer, who caught only 1 last week against the Redskins. You talked about Irving in the open, a 5-time Pro Bowler. He went to the Pro Bowl last year. Nothing today.
No, I mean, he only had 1 pass go his way. It wasn't a good pass, so he didn't have a chance to drop it or not drop it. But the Eagles, you know, right now they've got to go to the air. I mean, Bobby Hoying, if they're going to have a hope to get back in this thing, it's got to connect downfield.
Wally Garner into New York Giants territory. Wrestled out of bounds at the 45-yard line by Percy Ellsworth. A gain of 14. So now the Eagles running game picking it up a bit.
Yeah, well, they came out in a passing set. And a lot of times when you pass set, look how few defenders there are right there in the box. And so you spread that defense out, and then you get the run. But I don't think the Giants are afraid of having the Eagles run the ball anymore. The time is running out. They need 2 touchdowns.
Fryer and Gels, the wide receivers. Play action. Hoying looking for Gels, and he overthrows him.
Yeah, I mean, not even close. And Gels had separation from the coverage. The ball had to be thrown a little bit more to the inside. Gels is fast, but he's not that fast. See that? I mean, Gels has some separation from Carlton Gray. You call that open. You say he was open.
Gels was a sprinter at the University of Pittsburgh. Replaced by Jeff Graham. 2nd and 10. From the Giants 45. Hoying with time, and this time the pass is short. He overthrew Gels, and now he underthrows Jeff Graham.
There's really not that much you can say. You know, you feel bad for the guy as a guy. But as a football player, Bobby Hoying is really struggling.
Ironically, Hoying and Ken Graham were teammates for 1 season at Ohio State. Graham was a senior, Hoying a redshirt freshman back in 1991. Starting against one another here today. 3rd and 10. Fryer in motion. Hoying steps up, throws, finds a man for a first down. It's Deuce Staley, but a penalty marker on the play. Gain of 16. Tito Wooten made the tackle.
With nothing else, Bobby Hoying did a nice job of hanging in there and delivering that pass because Chad Bratsky hammered him.
Face mask on the Giants as well.
Well, the face mask they'll take because that'll come after the reception. The
There are 2
holding
fouls
they'll
on the play.
decline.
Holding, number 39, defense. That penalty is declined.
Jeremy
Personal
Lincoln.
foul, face mask on the defense at the end of the run. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And now all of a sudden this game becomes a game. Watch Hoying get hammered by Chad Bratsky. He hangs in there and finds Staley. There's Bratsky, comes underneath. Look at that, wham. That's a nice job by Bobby Hoying. You know, Staley has got to be about his 3rd receiver to look for on that play.
Roger.
Eagles with their deepest penetration into Giants territory today. From the 14-yard line. On first down, Hoying to Garner. And a good play by Sam Garnes, the first Giant there, and then Chad Bratsky.
Yeah, that was a great open field tackle. When you get in that situation like Sam Garnes was, you have to look at the guy's hips, because Garner started chopping his feet, and you don't know which way he's going to break. If you look at the head, you bite on the fake. Garner's eyes go right down to the hips, and he makes the tackle.
Gain of 3 by Garner. 2nd and 7. On the play fake. Hoying throwing end zone, picked off by Philippi Sparks.
Well, Philippi can say thanks to Michael Strahan.
Second interception of the year for Sparks. Hoying picked off in the end zone. Kenny Albert, Tim Green back at the Meadowlands. Interception in the end zone by the Giants, Philippi Sparks. Giants with a 13-0 lead with 6:49 remaining, trying to preserve the shutout, which would be the Giants' first, believe it or not, since November of 1990.
Even though that series ended in an interception, I think that Hoying's ability at least to move that offense down the field gave the Eagles defense a little bit of a lift. I really do, because what happens is if the offense just does nothing, if they just go 3 and out, they're flat, it's hard for a defense to generate any kind of enthusiasm.
And that was an 11-play drive by the Eagles. Earlier, Hoying led a 13-play drive, culminating with a missed field goal. Gary Brown taken down at the 24 by James Willis and John Harris, a native of Inwood, New York.
Well, the Eagles right now are playing really a 9-man front. And they're bringing both Brian Dawkins and Michael Zordich up to the line of scrimmage and saying, look, we know you're going to run, and we're going to stop you.
The Philadelphia Eagles have won more games here at Giants Stadium than any other Giants opponent, 13-9. And the Eagles' last road win was right here over the Jets in December of '96. Since then, they've gone 0-13-1 away from Veterans Stadium. Graham took a hit. He was looking for Chris Callaway.
That's what I mean about that Eagles defense. They came out, they stopped them on 1st down, held them for no gain, shut down the run, a small gain on 2nd down. 3rd down, they put the pressure on Graham and put the ball back in their offense's hands. I'm telling you, just Bobby Hoying's ability to move that offense downfield is what inspired that defense.
And Hoying will get another opportunity. Maynard back at his own 10-yard line.
Nice.
And he forces Rossum back, and then it goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Maynard's punt officially 45 yards, so the Eagles will take over. Giants penalty. Busy afternoon for Bill Carollo and staff. And the Giants punt this one again.
You know, Kenny, talking earlier about Jim Fossil and the team and how...
Ineligible player on the kicking team illegally downfield, number 53, the 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
I said that their offensive line needed to come off the ball better the way they did last year. And Jim Fossil said he knew that. Coming into this season, he warned his guys over and over again. Look, the way we won last season was by working real hard. We won ugly. We moved the line of scrimmage. We ran the ball. We were safe with the ball. We got turnovers. We played solid defense. We're not a fancy pants team. We got to win the blue-collar way.
Maynard back at the 5 following the penalty against Lance Scott. Rossum rolls to midfield. Only a 32-yard punt.
Yeah, so they gave Bobby Hoying a pretty short field to try to get the Eagles back into this thing.
Thanksgiving Day, get a double dose of Fox Sports as Justin Leonard Annika Sorenstam and Jim Colbert show off their short games at the Sun Microsystems Par 3 Challenge, followed by the Vikings and the Cowboys with Pat Summerall and John Madden. It all gets underway at 1 Eastern.
Some big offenses in that game. Not a lot of offense here today, but Thanksgiving Day you'll get enough for the whole week.
Just 4 days away. Flag on the play is Hoyer.
Oh, what a catch!
Irving Fryer, and he did not hold on to it.
Oh, I thought he did. He got hammered on that play.
Had he made the catch, it would have been brought back anyhow.
Ifs and buts. Here's Fryer, just on a little in route right there.
10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Oh, he didn't. It bounced. Boy, oh boy. There's the hole by Jermaine Mayberry right there. He tackles Strahan, who's coming around on the stun.
10th penalty against the Eagles. Penalty yards. 1st and 10 from the 40. Jason Dunn in motion. And Hoying's pass picked off. Second interception of the game for the Giants, and the second for Philippi Sparks. He sprained an ankle earlier. Does not seem to have hurt Philippi at all.
No, but they made it easy for him, because they put Deuce Staley out there, who's a running back, and a running back running a wide receiver pattern, and Sparks is laughing at that. Sparks is saying, bring that on me all day, because when the ball goes in the air, Sparks knows how to go and fight for this thing, and he outfights Deuce Staley. The ball is there. Either player can get it, but Philippi Sparks, he makes a living out of battling out there on the edge. Deuce Staley's a running back.
From the Eagles 39, Charles Way. He's hit for a loss by Mike Caldwell. And the Eagles call timeout, stop the clock with 4:39 remaining. So the Giants defense, Tim, trying to preserve the shutout, coming up with 2 fourth-quarter interceptions.
Fossil saying, no. Charles, you don't bounce it outside. You're not our speed guy. You're not Tiki Barber. You take that ball and you run it up the gut. And then Bobby Hoying on the sideline is a guy who struggled, again, throwing the deep ball. And if you take a look at his passing by zone, you see that he's had just 0 success here. Only 1 completion there in the deep area. The only time that he's really been able to get anything done are in those shorter underneath passes.
Going 11 for 24. His last 2 pass attempts have been caught by Giants. By one Giant, Philippi Sparks. Gary Brown. Gain of 3 yards. And the Eagles call another timeout with 4:33 remaining.
The Giants are just playing this thing safe. They're playing it smart. They're slogging it out. They're not going to put the ball up in the air. The only thing they need to do today is win. And that's what Fossil needs to get this thing going. I mean, he needs to get these guys back in a mindset. And they're probably not going to go to the playoffs this year. They're not mathematically eliminated. But he's looking at, hey, let's look at next season. And that's a big difference between the Giants and the Eagles, because, hey, the Eagles players know. They know that Ray Rhodes is not going to be here next year. Ray Rhodes knows Ray Rhodes isn't going to be here next year. But all the Giants guys know that Fossil's the man. He's going to be there, so you can start to build towards the next season. But when you know the coaching staff is going to be gone, it's really hard to build any kind of continuity, any kind of momentum.
3 wide receivers for the Giants. 3rd down and 8. Last pass caught by Amani Toomer. 1st down and more. Troy Vincent Brought Toomer down, a gain of 25.
Oh, Ken Graham was so excited after that. He was high-stepping around the backfield. But this is just what we talked about all game long. When a quarterback sees a blitz, you have to burn the blitz. Here comes a blitz by the Eagles. Look at all the pressure. Ken Graham holds the ball just long enough and drills that to the slant pattern to Amani Toomer. That's the way you keep defenses from blitzing. Doesn't matter about today. The Giants have got this one in the bag, but it matters for next week.
Toomer's second catch of the day, both on big third down plays to extend drives. Gary Brown. Brown inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
But he can really punish you when he runs. You know, I mean, he's 5'11", 230 pounds, and he gets that going upfield. And that's what you want to do. That's what Jim Fossil wants from Gary Brown and from Charles Way when he's got the ball. Go north and south, boys. Don't go west. Go north and south.
Brown with 95 yards on the ground today. He had 2 100-yard games earlier this season. Unfortunately for Brown, the Giants are on the 4.
Might get it back again after this.
Brown tripped up. Picks up 1 to the Eagles' 3. Brown scored the only touchdown of the game, a 4-yard run back in the third quarter, sandwiched in between a pair of Brad Daloiso field goals.
You know, really, Gary Brown is so lucky. We talked about him earlier in the game, how he was out of football. He was sitting around in his house in Williamsport.
And what was he doing?
He was eating hoagies and watching TV. His best friend was the guy who delivered the hoagies. He just didn't want to see anybody, didn't want to do anything. But I think it's a real gift to be able to want to go back to the game and then to be able to go back to the game. Because every player that leaves the game, whether you're announcing games or a stockbroker, there's a part of you that always wants to go back. You want a taste of playing in the NFL because there is nothing like it. Gary Brown got to go back, and he's being successful on it, and that's why he's got that big smile on his face.
Well, you'll have a big smile tonight as you watch Big Splash Sunday on Fox. Is Homer's friend in hot water? Find out on an all-new Simpsons, which follows the world's funniest, that 70s show, and then the X-Files. It all gets underway at 7 tonight, right here on Fox. Giants call timeout with 2:16 remaining. As they face a third down on the Eagles' 3-yard line, leading 13-0 in Kent Graham's first start of the season. Giants in San Francisco next Monday night.
And, you know, Graham has really done an admirable job. His numbers aren't spectacular, but if you think back and you think to some key third down conversions, Kent Graham came up with the big passes.
Including a pair to Amani Toomer.
Yeah, and a nice quarterback sneak, too.
Gervicius in motion. And penalty markers on third down.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 89. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
That's backup tight end Andy Hussey, just activated from the practice squad this week.
Not a good way to get noticed your first game. There's Hussey right here. Yep, just moves when the defender moves.
Receivers. Third and goal. Graham fires and has the touchdown. Tiki Barber.
What a beautiful pass. What a pretty pass. Not an 80-yard bomb, but Kent Graham put that ball in a position that enabled Barber to catch and run. Barber didn't have to turn, he didn't have to twist, it was perfectly placed, so Barber never had to break stride or stop his forward momentum. Right there. When we said earlier, Kent Graham's got heat on his ball. And Tiki told him this week in practice, he said, man, I don't have time to think when you throw me that ball. I just got to catch it.
Aloiso with the point after. First touchdown of the season for Barber. His 5th career touchdown, 3 of the 5 against Philadelphia. So the Giants' lead is now 20-0 as they will make it 4 up and 7 down. Eagles will drop to 2-9. We mentioned Giants in San Francisco on Monday night, while the Eagles will travel to Green Bay.
Well, Ken Graham knows where he's going with this ball. He goes right to Tiki. Tiki's open, but if the ball isn't placed where he can just continue with his stride, he's going to get brought down before he gets to the end zone.
First touchdown pass of the season for Kent Graham.
And then you get a hug from your right tackle. And Scott Gragg's had a nice game today. I mean, we've seen him. He's been a guy who's criticized. We've seen him make some nice blocks today. And that whole offensive line kind of got it together again today, the way they had it going in 1997.
Aloiso's kickoff, fielded by Rossum at the 7-yard line. Alan Rossum across the 40. Tries to cut it back inside a penalty marker. 44-yard return by Rossum. And Bill Carollo says it is against the Eagles.
On the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Brandon Whiting.
That's it.
And we have hit the 2-minute warning from Giants Stadium, where the Giants lead the Eagles by the score of 20-0. Under 2 minutes remaining. It's all academic right here. One more drive for the Eagles offense. They trail by 20. Here's Staley. Across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Well, stay tuned for the Fox NFL postgame show. Joe Buck along with Ron Pitts will be along from Los Angeles with scores, highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker with up to the second stamp. That's coming up. Joe and Ron on the Fox NFL postgame show. Boying on the screen. Staley, first down to the 37-yard line.
Okay, I talked about that Giants offensive line getting back to what they were. We saw that in 1997, they had 124 yards average. They were ranked 7th. It's exactly what they had today. Back to that 124-yard mark.
Irving Fryer coming up with his first catch of the game with 1 minute left. 2nd and 5. Incomplete. Hoying working for Russell Copeland. Tremendous job by our entire crew from the Meadowlands today. Our producer Larry Lancaster, director Rich Russo, the pregame produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. Thanks as well to our technical producer Kevin McRoby, associate director Marcy Kempner, broadcast associate Robert Slosby, the senior producer of Fox Sports Bill Brown, the executive producers Ed Gorin and David Hill. Thanks also to our technical director Dave Bernstein, Michael Montavani, Christine Schlamp, Barry Hockhauser, Mike Eldridge, Mark Cole, and the rest of our crew here at the Meadowlands. Boying taken down at the 43-yard line by Jesse Armstead.
Boy, and our producer Larry Lancaster really knows how to eat, doesn't he?
Oh,
Took us all around Manhattan. Wait till Rupert Murdoch gets the bill.
you usually lead the way in that department. Down to the final half minute. Eagles looking to avoid a 3rd shutout of the season. Tim, the Giants last shutout November 1990. with Bill Parcells at the helm. They shut out Detroit by the same 20-0 score. The last Giants shutout over Philadelphia, 21-0 back in 1985. And this is the Giants' third consecutive victory over the Eagles. They swept Philadelphia last year. Ray Rhodes' club now 0-14-1 in their last 15 on the road.
Well, Kenny, we talked about it right from the beginning of this game. You said to me, what does this game mean to the Giants? And I said that if they were to lose to Ray Rhodes' team, with the trouble that the Eagles' offense has had, being the lowest scoring team in the National Football League, Jim Fossil would have been embarrassed. Because, hey, they won the division last year. You know, they won out over Dallas and Washington and Arizona, Philly, and they were the top team in this division. And to go from that to losing to a team that's struggling as much as the Eagles have struggled would have been a real tough week.
The Giants now 4-7. They bounced back from last week's embarrassing loss to the Green Bay Packers. Giants have defeated the Philadelphia Eagles by the score of 20-0. Third time the Eagles have been shut out this season. Ken Graham with a victory in his first start of the year. The numbers on Graham, 10 of 21 for 153 yards and a touchdown. Gary Brown, 96 yards on the ground for the Giants.
Again, a lot of those yards by Gary Brown coming from hard running, churning legs, but also the offensive line, the Giants' offensive line, getting back to what they need to do if the Giants are going to have success in the last half of this season and then take that theme into next season.
So the New York Giants victorious this afternoon by the score of 20-0 over the 2-9 Philadelphia Eagles. These teams will face each other one more time on the final Sunday of the regular season at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. So the Giants raised their record to 4-7. The Eagles dropped to 2-9. For Tim Green and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from the Meadowlands, where the Giants have defeated the Eagles 20-0. We'll send you back to the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles. Joe Buck and Ron Pitts after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.